The village was shrouded in a misty dawn, its red earth paths winding through rows of modest huts adorned with thatched roofs. Birds greeted the day with tentative chirps, their songs rising above the rhythmic crackling of fires being stoked for the morning meal. Amid this tranquil setting lived a young man named Malik, whose dreams stretched far beyond the boundaries of his small village. Ambitious and restless, Malik often sat on a weathered log under a towering baobab tree, gazing at the horizon as though searching for the threads of his destiny. Malik had always been drawn to the idea of exploration, of education, and the promise of a better life. He had grown up in poverty, watching his mother toil endlessly in the fields to provide for their family. His determination to lift his family out of hardship became the flame that guided him, but his aspirations seemed like whispers carried off by the wind. It was during one such contemplative moment under the baobab that Malik learned of a man named Mr. Kareem. Mr. Kareem was a revered figure in the village, known for his benevolence and wisdom. He had amassed great wealth through trading precious metals and spices, yet he was most celebrated for the lives he had transformed. He had helped young people realize their potential by offering them opportunities to study abroad. Stories of his generosity were woven into the fabric of village folklore, making him both a legend and a source of hope. When Malik finally mustered the courage to approach Mr. Kareem, he carried with him a modest bag containing a few certificates and a fervent plea. Mr. Kareem listened intently as Malik shared his dreams of studying engineering and his desire to return to uplift his village. There was an intensity in Malik's eyes, a sincerity that resonated with the elder man. Sensing Malik's potential, Mr. Kareem agreed to sponsor his journey, providing not just financial support but also mentorship and access to a network of contacts abroad. Malik's gratitude knew no bounds. He vowed to make the most of this chance. Months later, Malik boarded a plane for the first time, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. His journey was arduous, but his determination never wavered. In a foreign land, he excelled in his studies, fueled by the dreams of his family and the sacrifices they had made for him. He found a community of like-minded individuals who shared his passion for learning, and together, they navigated the challenges of being far from home. Malik's letters to Mr. Kareem were filled with updates of his progress and expressions of his eternal gratitude. Back in the village, Malik's younger brother, Tunda, watched these developments with growing envy. Unlike Malik, Tunda lacked direction. He had always felt overshadowed by his brother's achievements and resented the attention Malik received. Tunda began to craft a plan to capitalize on Mr. Kareem's generosity, weaving a web of lies about his own aspirations. He painted a vivid picture of a young man desperate to learn, burdened by circumstances beyond his control. Mr. Kareem, though generous, was also shrewd. He listened carefully to Tunda's story but felt a dissonance between the words and the boy's demeanor. Mr. Kareem decided to verify Tunda's claims, enlisting the help of trusted villagers to gather information. The truth soon surfaced. Tunda's plea was a facade, designed to exploit Mr. Kareem's kindness. Disappointed but not surprised, Mr. Kareem confronted Tunda, urging him to reflect on his actions and warning him that deceit would only lead to ruin. Tunda's pride was wounded, and he stormed away, determined to prove his worth through his own means, albeit by questionable methods. Meanwhile, Malik's life flourished. He graduated with honors and secured a well-paying job, enabling him to send money home regularly. He married Aisha, a brilliant and compassionate woman who shared his vision of giving back to their communities. Together, they welcomed 2 children, a boy and a girl, into their lives, cementing their bond and solidifying their dreams of a bright future. Malik's success became a beacon for the village, inspiring other young people to aspire to greatness. Despite his achievements, Malik's thoughts often drifted to Tunda. He knew his brother's bitterness ran deep, but he believed in the redemptive power of love and second chances. Hoping to guide Tunda onto a better path, Malik invested heavily in his brother's future. He sent shipments of goods, urging Tunda to start a business and promising him autonomy. Tunda, initially buoyed by his brother's faith, began trading with enthusiasm. However, his old habits soon resurfaced. The profits from the business were squandered on frivolous pursuits, leaving the venture in shambles. Tunda's joy was uncontainable. He moved his family into the house, hosting elaborate celebrations that further depleted his resources. Villagers whispered about the house's questionable construction, but Tunda dismissed their concerns, basking in the illusion of success. His wife, Zara, tried to caution him, but her words fell on deaf ears. Tunda's arrogance blinded him to the precariousness of his situation. One evening, a fierce storm descended upon the village. Thunder rumbled like the roar of an angry beast, and rain lashed against the fragile walls of Tunda's home. The wind, relentless and unyielding, tore through the village, toppling trees and unearthing deep-seated fears. As the storm intensified, Tunda's house began to shudder. Zara clutched their children tightly, her prayers mingling with the howling wind. A deafening crack signaled the collapse of the roof, followed by the walls caving in like a house of cards. By morning, the storm had passed, leaving devastation in its wake. Villagers gathered around the rubble that had been Tunda's home, their faces etched with sorrow. Among the debris lay the lifeless forms of Zara and the children. Tunda arrived to find his world shattered. Overwhelmed by grief and guilt, he fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. The weight of his choices crushed him, each moment of greed replaying in his mind like a cruel reminder of what he had lost. Malik returned to the village upon hearing the news. He found Tunda a broken man, consumed by regret. Malik's own heart ached, not just for the lives lost but for the pain that had driven his brother to such ruin. Instead of reproach, Malik offered forgiveness. He helped Tunda rebuild, not just materially but spiritually. Malik's support was unwavering, a testament to the strength of familial bonds and the power of redemption. Tunda, humbled and transformed, began a journey of atonement. He dedicated himself to helping others, using his story as a cautionary tale. He worked tirelessly to rebuild trust and contribute meaningfully to the village. Over time, Tunda's efforts bore fruit. He became a pillar of the community, his past serving as a reminder that integrity and humility were the true measures of a person's worth. Years later, as Malik and Tunda stood together under the baobab tree, their faces lined with age and wisdom, the village buzzed with activity. Children played, fields flourished, and the sound of laughter echoed through the air. Malik turned to Tunda, a gentle smile on his face. "We've come a long way, brother," he said. Tunda nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon, where the sun painted the sky with hues of hope. For the first time in years, his heart felt light, unburdened by the shadows of his past. The story of Malik and Tunda became a legend in the village, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the redemptive power of love. It was a story passed down through generations, a reminder that even in the face of tragedy, one could find the strength to rise, rebuild, and inspire others to do the same.